This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. My lord, I hope that you can remove all the hidden dangers in my body. As long as the power of the curse is removed, I'm confident that I can return to the body of an ordinary person within 3 months. No, I was even better than an ordinary person, and I had a devil-like figure. I know all the shaping techniques in the world. Jiang Ruame's eyes were burning with madness. The fact that she had been suppressing for many years had almost made her completely desperate. Even Master Lu Songzi of the Sea of Soul Formation was helpless. Who else in the world could cure her? She had the thought of seeking death several times, and had been living in a humble manner, living in the shadows of others. At that moment, she finally saw hope. A beam of sunlight fell from the sky and shone on her. At that moment, Yunxiao was an angel in her eyes. "Don't get excited," Yunxiao said with a smile. "Take it slow. I'll remove half of the curse first, and you should be able to slim down by half very soon after you adjust your body size. I'm still a fatty even if I'm half as thin as before." Jiang Ruame said anxiously. "I want to become a slim beauty, even slimmer and more beautiful than Jiang Ruabing." There was a trace of ruthlessness in her eyes, as if she was already extremely dissatisfied with Jiang Ruabing. She was about to surpass Jiang Ruabing, and the sense of urgency made her so excited that she was about to go crazy. "Your skin color, face shape, and facial features are all very good," Yunxiao said with a nod. "After you slim down, you will not be inferior to Jiang Ruabing in terms of beauty. However, the removal of the last half of the curse seal is the condition of the deal I want to make with you. Do you think I called you here to learn from Lei Feng?" Jiang Ruame was stunned and immediately said, "Lord, please speak. As long as it's something I can do, even if you ask me to climb a mountain of daggers or plunge into a sea of fire, I won't even bat an eyelid." Her face was filled with determination, and the hope of life was inadvertently ignited. She could not give up no matter what. If she lost this ray of sunlight again, she would rather die. "You don't have to go through so much trouble," Yunxiao said with a smile. Jiang Ruame frowned. When she saw Yunxiao's sunny smile, she was suddenly startled and said, "I understand. You're here to participate in Jiang Ruabing's challenge tournament. You want me to help you win?" She was stunned for a moment and pondered, "It's hard to fake it when it's held in front of all the heroes in the world. But if you're willing, I can think of a way to let you have a taste of Jiang Ruabing first and make her future husband a cuckold." "I wonder if you're interested, my lord." Jiang Ruame's eyes revealed a trace of gloating viciousness. She laughed and said, "Ruame's body is currently fat and swollen, and I am not worthy of Darren's attention. After I lose weight, Ruame is willing to become Milord's female slave and listen to Milord's commands. Milord can use Ruame however you want." Yunxiao looked at the mountain-like fat, and as if someone had poured a bucket of cold water on him, he trembled all over. "Don't think of it the wrong way. I don't have the fortune to have you 2 sisters. I'm here for 2 things," he said seriously. "First, you must return to the governor's mansion as soon as possible and try your best to help Jiang Ruabing obtain the dragon's secret treasure and the 18 moon pearls from the East Sea. Jiang Ruabing will bring these 2 items to me at the gathering of the heroes 2 days later. If she fails, then the half of the curse mark on your body will be hopeless." Jiang Ruame shuddered and said hurriedly, "Ruame will risk my life to complete the mission." A hint of suspicion flashed in her eyes, and she said, "So it turns out that Darren and little sister Ruabing knew each other from a long time ago." An indescribable anger suddenly rose in Jiang Ruame's heart. It turned out that Jiang Ruabing knew that there was someone who could break my curse, but she never said a word. She watched as father and mother searched for medicine for me all over the world, but she also pretended to be concerned. It turned out that she had a solution all along. Damn it, that damned Jiang Ruabing. You've wasted more than 10 years of my youth. I can't stand by your side." Yunxiao had no idea what she was thinking, so he continued, "As for the second thing, 2 days later, I will go to the Wind and Moon building with another friend. You have to make sure that we get out of there safely. Otherwise, if something happens to us, you won't be able to touch the curse mark. This is simple, Jiang Ruame hurriedly replied. This is the Red Moon City, whoever dares to touch you, my lord, is purely against me. If they don't want me to lose weight, I will definitely kill their entire family. Jiang Ruame's eyes flashed with a trace of fierceness, but she gradually calmed down and said, Does my lord have a third condition? Not for now, Yunxiao said. After we leave the Wind and Moon Hotel, I will arrange a place to meet you and remove the last mark on your body. Jiang Ruame hesitated and said, My lord, you can't possibly have left unscathed, right? This matter is too important to Ruame. I cannot afford to be careless. Humph. Yunxiao stared at her and snorted. If you think I'm so untrustworthy, you don't have to make a deal with me. What good would lying to you do me? On the contrary, I've caused you to hunt me down in the entire world. Jiang Ruame forced a smile and said, My lord, don't be angry. I'm just paying too much attention. Don't worry, I'll definitely do these two things well. She was very nervous, fearing that Yunxiao would leave in a bad mood, and she would cry and faint on the spot. Now, no matter what, she had to do her best to satisfy and please this person. Even if she wanted to run around the city naked, she could only brace herself and do it. She didn't want to have such a fat life anymore. Her heart was like a pool of stagnant water, but now that there was suddenly hope, she would go crazy if she returned to the stagnant water. Yes, you can rest assured. I always keep my word. After saying that, Yunxiao did not want to stay here any longer. He teleported away, turning into a beam of light and disappearing into the distance. Jiang Ruame's eyes widened as she watched Yunxiao walk away. It was only then that she came back to her senses. Everything that had happened just now felt like a dream. After so many years of depression, she had easily found a way to get rid of it at this moment, which was somewhat unbelievable. After being stunned for a moment, she once again circulated the origin power in her body and suddenly felt that the thick fat in her body was squeezed off bit by bit under the pressure of the cultivation method, squeezed into oil and water, seeping out of her skin. A moment later, she had become a greasy fat woman with a foul smell. However, Jiang Ruame was overjoyed. She laughed so hard that she almost cried. After leaving the base of the ICE organization, Yunxiao found a random hotel, asked for a secret room, and began to cultivate. In his battle with Wenlin, it was the second time he had used that hammer. It seemed that in the state of his body turning into lightning, the connection between him and the hammer had become even closer, and both of them could be strengthened. After he entered the Divine Realm tablet, he summoned the hammer and played with it in his hand. He muttered to himself, The rule of thunder in this hammer is exactly the same as the thunder tribulation. If there is a 9th tier profound artifact in the Divine Realm tablet, can I use this hammer to replace the thunder tribulation? The lightning within this monument might be even more powerful than the lightning tribulation outside. With a thought, Yunxiao summoned the calabash little King Kong. With a cold gleam in his eyes and a slight smile on his face, he said, Let's do an experiment with this first. His left hand began to continuously make hand seals, sending out all kinds of talismans that flew around the gourd little Vidra. Circle after circle of formation condensed in front of him, surrounding the gourd little Vidra into a big dumpling, and the formation continued to expand. Yunxiao picked up the hammer with his right hand and poured his divine energy into it. Immediately, the golden tadpole-like characters shone on it, and tens of thousands of thunderbolts spread out with the hammer as the center. At the same time, Yunxiao transformed into a thunderbolt and raised the hammer high, then smashed it down on the gourd little King Kong. Boom! With a single strike, the heavens and earth trembled, and lightning flashed for tens of thousands of miles. The calabash little King Kong opened its mouth wide and roared repeatedly. Its face was full of pain. It was obvious that it was very uncomfortable to be hit by the thunderbolts. The lightning struck his body, and more than half of it was reflected back. However, it was absorbed by the surrounding formation and poured back into him. With this repeated, the calabash little King Kong had to go through several thunderbolts. Its entire huge body was straight under the lightning and it screamed repeatedly. The demonic dragon also appeared and said, It's too cruel. I can't bear to look at it. Yunxiao's mouth widened into a smile. I've hammered it hard. How can I hope for a rainbow without experiencing thunder? He raised his hammer high again and smashed it down ruthlessly. Boom, boom, boom. Thunder and lightning continued to rumble, and the entire Divine Realm tablet could not calm down. From time to time, there were figures flying over. In a short while, almost everyone had gathered and were watching in horror from a distance. What did little King Kong do? Young Emperor Hulian asked in shock. Young Master Yun, why are you torturing him like this? Mo Xiaochuan smacked his head and said, that little Vajra is a profound level weapon, so he should be refining it. I think I should use you to refine it and see if it can improve your IQ. That thing isn't a profound level weapon. Strictly speaking, it should be a demonic beast, but to use the method of refining profound level weapons to increase the level of demonic beasts, he's the only one who can think of it and do it. If this stone beast can survive this tribulation, its future will be boundless. What if he can't? Duan Yu frowned. Yuan Gaohan glanced at him indifferently and said, if he can't, then he'll really become a profound level weapon. Duan Yu, Ingluo. Suddenly, the dark thunder beside Duan Yu trembled and growled in a low voice, as if the abnormality of the lightning in the world had stimulated it. What? Duan Yu asked in surprise. Do you want to go up there and get hit? Pai pa pai pa. A few electric arcs suddenly jumped out of Dark Thunder's skin and hair, spreading around its body. Its entire body was charged with electricity, and it was getting stronger and stronger. The Dark Thunder is a thunder-type demon beast, Yu Jiolin said in shock. Perhaps it was affected by the field energy of the Prison of Thunder. I'm just a martial artist who has cultivated a lightning attribute cultivation technique, but under this energy, I feel like my blood is boiling, like a fish returning to the sea. This beast's senses should be even stronger than mine. Yes. Duan Yu put on a profound look, nodded slightly, and said, if that's the case, then go ahead if you want to be hammered. No one will stop you. Dark Thunder had been with the two of them all day long, and they had developed a strong tacit understanding with each other. When Duan Yu casually said that, it trembled and bowed slightly, looking straight ahead with an extremely vigilant gaze. Whoosh. Without anyone noticing, the Dark Thunder had really rushed out, leaving everyone stunned. Although it was a thunder-type demonic beast, it would still die under the heavenly might of this kind of thunder, even if it could transform into lightning. Duan Yu was dumbfounded. He was just making a casual remark, but he did not expect that the beast was really going to court death. He stomped his feet anxiously and roared, "Bastard, come back!" But the Dark Thunder would not listen. It had already reached the periphery of the Prison of Thunder. The lightning that was constantly shooting out of it struck its body. Its hair stood on end, and its roar kept getting louder. Yun Xiao had also noticed Dark Thunder's strange behavior, and he looked surprised. While he continued to knock the gored little King Kong with his hammer, he observed the demon beast. To his surprise, he discovered that the demonic chi fluctuations emanating from the Dark Thunder's body were gradually becoming more and more consistent with the frequency at which his hammer was striking down. He didn't know if this was a natural reaction or if the beast was trying to adjust itself. If it was the latter, it would be too shocking. In the martial Tao, some martial techniques were to adjust one's own frequency continuously, making it become consistent with the surrounding environment and even the rules of heaven and earth. From there, one could draw on the power of heaven and earth. It was an extremely difficult combat technique to grasp. It was easy to achieve during cultivation, but in actual combat, the opponent would not give you time to adjust your body. When Yun Xiao realized this, he began to hammer at a regular frequency while he sensed the heartbeats of the two demon beasts with his divine sense. If there was a problem, he would immediately stop. From a distance, Duan Yu saw that Dark Thunder seemed to be fine for the time being, and he was a little relieved. After staying together for so long, the three of them had developed feelings for each other. Boom. After Yun Xiao's normal strike, the Prison of Thunder suddenly reacted. There seemed to be something wrong with the array that had gathered the thunder and sent it back. All the thunderbolts whistled toward the Dark Thunder, as if it had a huge suction force. Bolts of tribulation lightning kept piercing through its body, and the roars of beasts were earth-shaking. Yun Xiao's face flickered, and he hurriedly stopped hammering. This was something he had not expected. The thunderbolt was so strong that he could no longer feel Dark Thunder's heartbeat, and he did not dare to continue. All the formations around the gourd little King Kong were broken by the power of thunder, and all the thunder and lightning gathered on the Dark Thunder. After the thunder and lightning whizzed past, a charred body appeared in the air, even emitting a roasted fragrance. This buy-in. Everyone was dumbfounded. He actually roasted. Well done. Young Emperor Haolian was surprised. Medium well? He actually died? What an idiot. Duanyu roared and turned into a beam of light as he rushed forward, his eyes filled with grief and indignation. Yu Jiolin's face was also gloomy as he flew up. Yun Xiao put away the hammer, glanced at the calabash King Kong, and sighed. There was an accident and I'm stuck at the peak of the martial honor realm. I can only wait for the next time to refine it. He reached out his hand and stopped Duanyu and Yu Jiolin 1,000 meters away, then said, "Don't get too excited, it's not dead." As soon as it finished speaking, the Dark Thunder's charred exterior began to peel off layer by layer. Rays of green light bloomed from its body, and an invisible force began to appear, pushing it away in the air. This is the Tao Wu's domain. Duanyu was shocked, but he was immediately overjoyed. The Dark Thunder had advanced to the rank of martial honor after passing the tribulation. The domain was unusually powerful, and the two of them found it hard to breathe. The two of them smiled at each other and also released their auras. They were both martial honors and resisted the domain of the Dark Thunder together. So you're not dead. I thought that tonight's meal could be improved. Young Emperor Haolian shook his head in disappointment. Both Duanyu and Yu Jiolin were shocked. This demon beast had just stepped into the martial venerable realm, but the power of its domain was stronger than all of them combined. Yuan Gaohan stared at the Dark Thunder for a while and smiled bitterly. A martial arts grandmaster demonic beast has followed you for so long and has advanced to the 8th rank of martial honor. This buy-in, he shook his head repeatedly as if he had nothing to say. Yun Xiao chuckled, aren't you almost at the 9th tier as well? In my opinion, you'll be able to break through to the 9th tier after refining 7 or 8 more swords. When you and I become one, even Lu Songzi or your master will be left behind by you. You'll have to protect me more in the future. Yuan Gohan's expression changed slightly, as if he was a little angry, snorting, although my results today are due to helping you refine armaments, but I have also refined 9 9th tier profound armaments for you, so I don't owe you anything. When we meet in the future, don't talk about friendship with me. Don't be so heartless. Yun Xiao laughed. It seems that I can only let you go after I have established a good relationship with you. You coward. Yuan Gaohan shut his mouth in anger. This person had a harmless expression, but in fact, who knew what he was thinking in his mind? Maybe one day he would come up with a new idea and refine himself. He wiped the cold sweat on his forehead and said, "How's the gourd little King Kong?" Everyone looked into the distance. The calabash little King Kong stood in the air with a dispirited look. Its head drooped and its limbs drooped. It was obvious that it was slowly recovering from the heavy injury. Yun Xiao sighed and said, I thought I could climb all the way to the 9 heavens realm, but something unexpected happened. I'm stuck at the peak of martial honor now. I can only wait for the next opportunity. Ever since I refined his body, his self-recovery ability has been greatly reduced. But old Yuan, do you have any way to improve it? Yuan Gaohan glared at him and said, now the gourd little King Kong's whole body is made of 9th tier materials, so its self-recovery will naturally be slow. If he had all the 9th tier materials and his recovery speed was as fast as before, that would be terrifying. He suddenly paused, as if he had a tacit understanding with Yun Xiao. The two of them raised their heads at the same time, looked at each other, and called out at the same time, Memory Origin Gold. Yun Xiao smiled and said, why did I only think of this now? I'm really looking forward to it. Yuan Gohan's eyes widened in shock, and he said in shock, if it's successful, wouldn't it become a profound level weapon beast that can heal itself infinitely and can't be killed at all? Yun Xiao laughed. It's not that terrifying. When I met a peak stage martial artist, I crushed him with one move, and his heart was gone. How can I not be killed? Everyone was speechless. How could he be compared with a powerhouse at the peak of martial arts? If the Calabash Little King Kong could advance to the Martial Supreme Realm and recover its instantaneous self-recovery ability, it would be able to cross several stars and challenge high-level Martial Supreme powerhouses. It would definitely be a great killing weapon. Yuan Gaohan said, "Your Dark Thunder was pulled all the way from a martial ancestor to a martial honor by you. This is also a great achievement. I will write it down in my book as an important experience. If this little King Kong calabash can do as you wish, then we can even consider mass-producing it." Everyone was shocked. As long as there were 20 of them, they would be able to annihilate any existence below the 7 major forces. Everyone fell silent. Just thinking about it made them feel shocked, including Yuan Gaohan. He had only casually mentioned it, but he had inadvertently discovered the horror within. Yun Xiao also fell silent for a moment. Then, he suddenly laughed and said, "The resources that can create 20 gourd little King Kong are enough to build a big force. First of all, he had to catch 20 Stonehead Kings. 1 or 2 of these things were fine, but the rest would depend on luck. Next, I need at least 40 sets of materials for 9th-tier profound artifacts, and 2 sets for the size of a stone beast. Without the unique advantages of the true Phoenix Fire and my Divine Realm tablet, if an ordinary alchemist were to refine it, a 9th-tier alchemist would only be able to refine it twice a year at most, and the failure rate would definitely be more than 50%. In that case, they'll need 5 9th-tier alchemists to make a backup of 100 sets of materials for 9th-tier mystic artifacts." Yun Xiao looked at the stunned crowd and chuckled. A force with 5 9th-tier alchemists and 100 sets of materials for 9th-tier profound artifacts can easily kill any existence under the 7 superpowers no matter what. When everyone heard this, they felt that this was indeed the case. After thinking about it, they relaxed. Otherwise, the effect would be too terrifying. Yuan Gaohan's face was still solemn as he stared at Yun Xiao and said, "The problem of success rate and alchemist you mentioned will not exist if it is refined in your Divine Realm tablet. With just me alone, I can make 9 more in a year's time, if I use the remaining Northern Heaven Frigid Sword Star Metal and Skyshine Void Metal you have. With such an existence, you can look down on the world." Yun Xiao's expression flickered as he smiled. "You can help me refine 30 mystic swords with the Northern Heaven Cold Star Iron. I'll turn them into 36 Tiangang sword diagrams. They're enough to kill 10 of them. Unless it's a large-scale guild war, there's no point for me to fight against too many gourd little guardian warriors. But it's of great significance to the Saint Domain," Yuan Gaohan said with a serious expression. "With the resources of the Holy Region, if such a team was formed, it would be enough to shock the world, and it was definitely a great act for the stability of the heavenly martial arts realm. Li Yun Xiao, I hope you can give me the refining method of this Calabash Little King Kong. I'm willing to exchange it with anything you need." Yun Xiao laughed. "You don't have what I want for now. Come and talk to me when you have it." After saying that, Yun Xiao gradually retreated from the Divine Realm tablet, leaving behind the stunned crowd and Yuan Gaohan, whose face was gloomy and uncertain.